Hi there, my name's Kayla and welcome to my book club. This is where I recommend and review books that I've read each month. If you have any books that you would like me to read or look at, please leave it in the comments below, and all the genres will range from teen fiction to adult literature. Okay, let's jump into it. The first book is called Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews. The book is narrated by a senior in high school named Greg Gaines, who doesn't like to call anybody his friend and prefers to be a floater in school rather than strictly sticking to one group in his high school. Earl is one of his only friends. Well, I guess you can call them business partners or co-workers instead of friends. Now you're probably wondering what I mean by co-workers. Greg and Earl make at-home films. They've been doing this since they were little, and they all do it based on old films they find that Greg's dad had. One day, when Greg gets home, his mom informs him that Rachel, one of his old friends, is sick. She has leukemia, and according to her mom, she needs a friend to make her feel better. As I mentioned, Greg doesn't really have friends. He's a floater, so he only knows Rachel because of past experiences at his old middle school. Unwillingly, Greg agrees to go visit Rachel. Rachel, however, isn't feeling it either. It's important for you to know that this is not a sappy romance novel. Greg and Rachel continue to spend more and more time together. So eventually, Greg introduces Rachel to Earl, and Earl tells Rachel all about the films that they've been making all this time. And Rachel falls in love with the films. One of Rachel's friends finds out about how much Rachel likes the films, so she decides to tell Earl that Earl and Greg should make a film just for Rachel. Greg hates the idea, but they decide to do it anyway. Throughout the novel, Greg and Earl make about 3 different versions of Rachel, the film, but they all fail. Instead of trying to make a new film, they decide to just combine all of the footage from the previous films that they made to make one, Rachel the film. Because Greg is spending so much time with Rachel, his grades start to drop, and Rachel gets even more sick when she has to deal with chemotherapy. Rachel is sent to the hospital, and Greg visits her often. One of Greg's teachers decides to help Greg out with his grades, though he stays after school with Greg while he works on his grades. After all the students come back from winter break, Rachel the film is shown to the entire school population. Greg and Earl are in agony because of this, and they decide that the best thing for them to do is to not spend time with each other at all. They completely stop talking to each other and briefly are no longer best friends. After that, some other things happen, but you'll have to read the book to figure that out. There's also an epilogue, but I can't tell you about that either. You're just going to have to read the book to find out what happens to Rachel and what happens to Earl and Greg's friendship. So now you're probably wondering, well, if you're not going to tell me what happens, why should I read the book anyway? As you read through it, I was laughing so hard through most of the chapters. They're just so funny, and it's really interesting to learn about how they filmed and what they filmed. Some of the parts of the book are written as if it was a script. It's really relatable because Jessie Andrews does a really good job in interpreting the 18-year-old's perspective somehow. And if you have a very artistic mindset and can think about visualizing films and stuff like that, it's good for you too. So that's why you should read this book. So my book recommendation for the month of June is called Holding Smoke by Elle Casimano. This book is about a boy who is able to basically leave his body, and his spirit almost can travel outside of imprisonment. So you have to read the book to find out what that's about. I'm actually going to be reading it this month as well. And then at the end of June, the beginning of July, I will do a book review on this and give you another recommendation for my next book. So thank you so much for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed it. Again, if you have any recommendations that you would like me to read or look into, please leave them in the comments, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!